Welcome back to the video. Today we're doing Leetcode 1071, greatest common divisor of strings. We're going to have string S and then string T. We say T divides S if S is made up of multiple T's concatenated with each other. Then we're going to be giving two strings, string 1 and then string 2. We want a string, we want the largest string that goes in equally to string 2 and then string 1. First thing we're going to do is we're going to concatenate string 1 and then string 2. That's going to give us a pattern. And then we could concatenate string 2 with string 1. That's also going to give us a pattern. If those two patterns aren't the same, we could just return empty strings, such as Leetcode, Leet are not the same, so we just return empty string. If it is the same going forwards and backwards, we just need to find the greatest common divisor of the length of both strings. This is 6, this is 3. One number goes into 3 and 6 equally, and it's the biggest number. It's just going to be 3. 6, 4. One number goes into 4 and 6. It's the biggest number. It's going to be 2. As we can see, this string is 3 long because the greatest common divisor of both strings is just 3. So we can go to any string and just get 3 characters from it, the first 3 characters. This is 6, this is 4. The number that goes into 4 and 6 would just be 2. We can go to any string and get the first 2 characters. So let's actually start coding it up a little bit. First, we're going to check if we concatenate both strings forwards and backwards, if it gives us like the same pattern. So let me pull up Paint a little bit, and then we'll see. We'll look at example 1. Pull up Paint. We'll look at example 1, and then we'll see string 1, which is string 1 is just going to be A, B, C, A, B, C. String 2 is A, B, C again. But if we put string 2 first, we'll have A, B, C, and string 1 is A, B, C, A, B, C. So it's A, B, C, A, B, C. As we could tell, it's the same string going forwards and backwards. So this is going to be string 1, string 2, string 2, string 1. So we get the same pattern. So the way we actually write that in code, we could say, not in caps, if string 1 plus string 2, if that's not equal to string 2 plus string 1, if that's not equal, like in case Leetcode, co-leet, if that's not the same thing, we could just return just an empty string. So that's going to be checking for example 3. We also need to find the greatest common divisor. So we could do that. We could define a sample function or sample method. We could say just call it GCD, stand for greatest common divisor. Say self A and B. So A is going to correspond to string 1. B is going to correspond to length of string 2. So these are just the lengths of string 1 and string 2. I forgot the name of this algorithm, but this is how we find the greatest common divisor, or the greatest common factor of these two numbers. We could say, well, b not equal to 0. That's going to keep going. We could say remainder equals to a modulus b, or in this case, string 1 modulus string 2. And then we could set a equal to b, and then b equal to remainder. So all this is going to do is going to find the greatest common divisor, or the greatest common factor, same thing. And then we could just return a. Okay, after this check, we know that the strings are, when you concatenate them together, it's going to be a pattern going forwards and backwards. So all we need to do is find the length, or find the greatest common divisor, and use that to get the substring of either string. So we could just say GCD length equals self. We're just calling that method we define GCD. And GCD takes 2 integers, a and b, but these are going to be the lengths of the string. So we could say the length of string 1, and then they're going to be the length of string 2. And this is going to give us the greatest common divisor, and then we can go to any string and start at 0 and then go to whatever the greatest common divisor is, the length. So we'll say return. We'll pick string 1. You can pick string 1 or string 2. We can say string 1, 0, all the way up to the GCD length, which is going to be the greatest common divisor length. And if that's correct and we run it, it should just give us the correct output, which it does. And then we could submit it, and then we could just pick string 2 just in case, just to see if you want to see. We'll do string 2, and then that should also work. Cool. So yeah. First thing we need to do is see if we concatenate both strings and they're going the same, if you're concatenating first string 1, then string 2, and then string 2, and string 1, if they share the same pattern, we just have to find the greatest common divisor of the lengths of both strings. We do that here. Once we get that, we pretty much get the substring of the string, and what we're gonna use for the substring is gonna be the greatest common divisor length. If this helped in any way, please leave a like and subscribe.